When Henry VIII had trouble at school, what did he do? He hired a Tudor. Get it? Tudor? Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. New year, new watch. It's a rebuy. I'm ashamed to say it is a rebuy. Ah, dear. Anyway, yeah, I'm back. I'm back like Bigavelli. How many people are going to get that reference? You know what clip I'm going to put in right now, right? Just when I thought I was out,
they pull me back in.
Cue intro. So I'll start off with a wristwatch check wearing the Tissot Généraux on a Fluco suede strap. This is the anthracite, absolutely gorgeous. The gilt with the steel makes it actually kind of a two-tone effect. So I really think it complements, well, actually we're gonna get into all of that in just a moment. Spoilers. Do make sure you like this video, very important indeed. Leave your comments, but also do make sure that you are subscribed, because unfortunately it seems to be some glitch with YouTube. A lot of you are commenting saying that you're not subscribed anymore or something like that, and you're missing videos, you're not notified. Yeah, it seems to be happening to a lot of YouTubers. So anyway, do make sure you're subscribed, and without further ado, let's get back to the video. Now, before we get into the unboxing, I want to preface this by asking you, where did it all go wrong? For a brand that seemingly got everything so right and was once the vanguard cash cow of the vintage-inspired luxury trend. For me, it only confirmed what I had already suspected when I discussed the brand during the whole Lady Gaga fiasco.
Bon Jovi, Madame Gaga, and the Coldplay under one roof.
That's perfect.
Now, don't get me wrong, I adore the modern Pelagos range, but there's many reasons why I'm more of a fan of vintage or neo-vintage Tudor over what they mainly offer new today. The latest and arguably the most important Tudors during the making of this unboxing was the new 36mm Ranger. Watches that I prayed to the horological gods for about 10 years ago, if you remember my vintage 34mm Tudor Oyster Prince with the Ranger dial that I shared on the channel a decade before the whole Bland Bay hype. I fear that finally the new logical size is too little, literally too late. Then, as if a sign from the beyond, a Tudor Bland Bay Chrono was featured in the 2025 Best of the Worst Christmas special. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about where the brand is going, then I don't know what does.
The Spa!
You know, it's a good movie when every new scene starts, you just go, ugh. Now we gotta sit through another scene.
Maybe it's time for me to pull a 50 Cent and produce a documentary for Netflix entitled A Horological Reckoning, The Fall of the House of Tudor. Please do share your observations in the comments, and who knows, I might read them if I make an episode later this year on what turned me from a Tudor fanboy into a Tudor skeptic. It is actually Christmas Day while I'm recording this, so taking a break from the festivities, I thought I would unbox something special, a gift, Christmas gift to myself. Let's get into it, shall we? The time has come. There it is. So this came with no box and papers. It's remarkably quick authentication. Yeah, authenticated there. You see the date. So it arrived literally just in time for Christmas. Oh, and by the way, I've brought in my actual day date. I was wearing this yesterday. And I'm going to probably slip on the tradition for dinner. Let's do the drum roll. There it is. An old friend returns. An old friend returns. So we have the stock, the kind of hybrid, I guess their version of the Jubilee, which is a little bit oyster, a little bit Jubilee. And I've gone surprisingly for a linen dial, but with the diamonds. Not quite a convert to diamonds on the bezel just yet, but I think diamonds on a dial, which I've had I think only once in an Amiga that I didn't end up keeping. I'm a fan of gemstones. I have tennis bracelets and the like, so I think on a dial it's absolutely fine. Obviously the Rolex is 18 karat. I believe they use 14. There's light scratches on the sides of the case. It looks pretty good. I don't see any over polishing. Apologize for my lack of descriptive efficacy. I am rather hungover. Too many martinis, Baileys and champagne last night. Top of the lugs look good. I'm pleased with this. I didn't pay ridiculous money. I guess my beta Day-Date. Yeah, that changes over nicely. That changes over nicely too. Yeah, clicks over. Yeah, and then of course the 100 meters water resistance with the screw down. It's just a great dagger watch, you know. Usually it's a term, I say dagger for more tool-tastic affairs, obviously. Gadda doesn't make any sense. The Oyster case, after all, is perhaps the originator of a lot of do it all, go anywhere timepieces. See about the loom there. Very minor, but it works. It works. Yeah, I'm going to give it 24 hours, see how it goes.
Shake it, baby.
So what were you expecting? Erica Eleniak to burst out of the box like it's 1992's Under Siege, or maybe more realistically a Pelagos? Well, the acquisition of my Grail Submariner effectively ended that decade-long quest, along with over 7 years of former Tudor Submariner ownership. So why have I gone back, yet again like a demented watchaholic hamster on a wheel, for the Day-Date? Or Day-to-Day, I should say. Some of you might remember me stating that the paradigmatic champagne dial variant I owned previously would be the last Tudor I ever buy. Well, unexpectedly I sold it as part of that final crucial big push for my Breguet Grail, so I could buy it in time for the anniversary. And in a true Aurelian sense, I'm not getting any younger, and examples of these will undoubtedly get harder to find. I knew when I sold that Champers variant, I still had a reasonable amount of time to save up and buy another, even if I did lose a little dosh in the process. Jingly jangly Jubilee. This is an aftermarket Jubilee, and I bought this specifically for these watches. Interestingly, they are compatible with your typical 36mm Jubilee from the Rolex. I can actually put my wife's Jubilee, because she has a Datejust 36mm, the mother of pearl two-tone. I've showed it on the channel before and I love wearing it. The linen dial really brings me back to that first Day-Date or Date-to-Day, I still can't remember it, that I initially owned on the channel. I just got a thing for linen dials. I don't know why. They're a little bit more understated. Maybe I should address some of the negatives of this watch. The diamonds, I would have preferred them a touch bigger. It's a kind of cool way of using bling, because in everyday light, the actual glimmer of the diamonds is kind of functional. I know, it's strange to say that, and actually that's the logic or design logic behind a lot of faceted applied markers, because when they reflect light, so there is a functional element there, not just, you know, being pretty. Another disadvantage is, well, it's not actually the version I wanted. The one I really am after is the white dial with the Romans two-tone again, that I also owned. I think it was my third. I can't remember. I've owned these so many times. Yeah, that is the perfect one for me, and I should have never ever have sold that. My wife is still mad at me. I sold that one. I'm going to insert the clip here from Pulp Fiction, but
I'm prepared to scour the earth for that mother.
If I come across that one, I'll sell this one. And shout out to Henry, actually, who has a version. He has the full steel with a smooth bezel, and he brought it to a Gentry dinner we had before Christmas. God, it was gorgeous, and it got me lusting after one again. I like his. He's put it on a oyster bracelet as well. Sometimes he puts it on the Jubilee. And this brings me on to another negative, what I call the anti-watch effect. They're so comfortable in their size, they're so usable with that useful complication. They become kind of your go-to everyday watch. You don't even think about it. They're very sartorially and situationally compatible, and I think the full steel even more. Obviously the watch bug is always going to be there, the obsession is always going to be there, but they do have that anti-watch effect. They kind of make me think, well, what's the point of buying anything else, right? And then it can be detrimental to collecting, because then you start thinking, well, I'll sell this and I'll sell that, and before you know it, you got seller's remorse and you're just lusting after these watches that you just sold. So beware. It's another one to add to the Gentry lexicon. But yeah, the anti-watch effect. Introduced in 1969, the initial Prince Date Day coincided with the brand's pivotal introduction of the Shield logo and the Snowflake handset for their Submariners, two massively important design language additions that firmly set them on a more individualistic path away from big bro brand Rolex. Just like all Tudor watches, and unlike the Rolex equivalents, aka the President's watch, which were always in precious metals, Tudor's more affordable steel counterparts were very much in keeping with Hans Wilsdorf's initial conceptual doctrine, the whole point of Tudor in the first place. But to further differentiate it, it first came in a larger scale, around just shy of 38mm, with the reference 70-17 and 70-10, now referred to as the Jumbo by collectors and designated Date plus Day in a reversal of Rolex, which still causes much confusion to my dyslexic brain. But all the while, they were still using some of the Corona signed components to cut costs, share technology, and simultaneously keep quality consistently high. There's plentiful parts, very cheap to service. I think it was like $400. Bear in mind that it is, how many years ago? 4 or 5 years ago. It's probably a little bit more now, but the benefits of an ETA, in my opinion, perhaps the safest way into vintage, or neo-vintage if you want. Unlike the Submariner, if you recall from my Tudor Grail video, I looked at so many snowflakes, and it is a minefield. Now, don't get me wrong, there are Chinese knockoffs out there. No watch is infallible. Certainly less risky than the snowflakes. And that's why I went back to Rolex in the end. And anyway, I've discussed that in my unboxing video. Have a look there. And I hate to say it, or I'm not sure if it's because I had one too many martinis last night and I feel queasy, or that I'm about to say the word. It's a value. You know what? I'll say it on screen. I can't bring myself to say the two words. The Tudor Date plus Day would, just like every model that parallels a Rolly, evolve steadily, seeing upgrades like the less charming sapphire glass over the previous Plexi, modern luminosity, and utilizing reliable but far cheaper to maintain high-grade Swiss ETA 2834-2 movements, culminating in the last and greatest post-90s generation, this 36mm 76-213 in two-tone and the 76-214 in full steel, both available on Jubilee-esque/Oyster hybrid bracelets. Originally intended for the US and Asian markets only, and then due to poor sales stateside, only the latter, with discontinuation around 2020. With the rise of the brand post the 2012 relaunch into the hipster-worshipped, overly bland-bay saturated monster it has become, they phase out these vice presidents, as some whimsically refer to them as, transitioning the day complication into the far older Royal Collection, in an effort to streamline and modernize Tudor. This resulted in it being far less about the presidential on a budget and more its own thing. And while historically logical, In my opinion, it was to its detriment, as it unfortunately lost much of that indicative Rolex Oyster American Psycho character and feel.
Look, I'm recruiting for a national firm. Do you want to know what?
I told you I am just gonna have it!
I'm very much a self-made 80s baby at heart, who grew up watching Gary Oldman as Bex in The Firm, witnessing the rise of Berlusconi in 90s Italy, with Brian Ferry's Sophisti-Pop and Prince being part of my soundtrack. It still is. This combination of steel and yellow gold evokes all those sybarite aspirations, all the abstractions Bret Easton Ellis wrote about, even if it is a tad Del Boy Trotter with the added bling. It triggers these feelings quicker than any Proustian Madeleine or touch of a Bateman-style eggshell business card.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god, it even has a watermark.
And I buy very much for feeling, design, heritage and enjoyment above all. But the functional practicality of the day complication, housed in the more robust two-tone configuration over the softer 18-karat gold of my big boy Rolex, just makes it a great grab-and-goer. Two-tone also has that added bonus of sprezzatura with jewelry, due to the ability of it being able to marry differing toned accessories, just like how Lebowski's rug.
It really tied the room together.
There's also another hidden benefit of two-tone. It's quite effective horological kryptonite to most of the up-speaking, trust-funded watch hipsters who venerate the tooltastic side of Tudor, despite never doing a day of hard labor in their pampered, paid-for lives, and this association has tarnished the brand a little for me, and so many other more critical thinking go-getters out there. This neo-vintage classic is a throwback to when Tudor still had some balls, and a bit more confidence in its swagger, more at ease at being a Rolex sibling instead of trying to be the star of the show. Like a loyal Will Riker is to Captain Picard, or Agrippa is to Augustus, Gromit is to Wallace, and Fat Joe was to Big Pun. You get the picture. The diamonds are certainly a little decadent, even a little rebellious, and very much goes against my old world tastes, but it's fun, and being under the glass, it's certainly less flashy, even cool, in my opinion. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I have to go and return some videotapes now, so play some Command & Conquer talking about nostalgia or Age of Empires. Don't forget to add your thoughts, especially what you think Tudor are getting right, getting wrong, all that good stuff in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, very important. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Onwards and upwards. Ciao.